video message from Axel Voss, member of the European Parliament. Let's have a look.
So, dear colleagues, dear team from the EUIPO, and dear friends, I'm glad to have the opportunity to participate in this panel on the IP Enforcement Summit, even if it is only virtually. I would have loved to be with you in Sofia, but unfortunately my agenda does not allow. So the question of the enforcement of IP rights is still of utmost importance for us. I think that intellectual property is becoming increasingly important, especially with the changes that digitization brings with it, and should also bring with it. Digitization in Europe requires an immense amount of space for innovation and creativity, and if we want a progressive Europe, we must also ensure that progress can be generated in Europe. We must ensure the competitiveness of our companies by promoting innovation and creativity as the foundations of intellectual property. Nevertheless, I'm concerned about movements that no longer regard intellectual property as a full right. I felt this particularly in the context of the copyright reform 4 years ago. The Internet is the main hub for copyrighted protected works. Users can access these works there in many new forms and using new business models. In this context, however, it is becoming increasingly difficult for right holders to enforce their copyright and to be adequately remunerated for the use of their works. This threatens the European cultural and creative industry. Technical advances in the digital realm therefore makes new demands on copyright, and we had to ask ourselves how we want to continue to protect intellectual property. With the reform 4 years ago, we have taken an immensely important step here and positioned ourselves clearly for the protection of innovations, for the protection of creativity, and ultimately for further economic development. Still, 5 member states have not until today implemented the directive in their national law. The Commission should definitely be strict on this. As far as I know, they referred these member states to the Court of Justice earlier this year. With the technical developments, we also need to continue the discussion about IP protection and enforcement. Now we are dealing with the regulation of artificial intelligence. Here, too, it is essential to make room for digital process and progress. We need strong digital products from Europe to maintain and grow our economy. For this, we need creative minds and innovative ideas that move us forward. We have seen how quickly, in a global crisis like the corona pandemic, inventive ideas become essential and how dependent we become on innovations. In return, however, we must also make a clear commitment to protecting these ideas and innovations. The Digital Services Act brought up new rules which are, in my opinion, not comparable but also not satisfying from a copyright perspective. So far, I guess we can live with it, but especially in the light of the emerging technological developments, live events must be better protected. In this light, new challenges are ahead if we are looking to new developments, especially digital developments like ChatGPT, the metaverse, or robo-journalism, robo-music, or robo-texts, some old questions do come up again, like what we need is a copyright register and how we cope on a transatlantic level. maybe our conference will already find some answers. I wish you a fruitful and successful discussion to bring forward the enforcement of IP law, especially inside of new technologies. Please let me know your results and keep contact to my office and to me especially, that we can continue our work in promoting copyright protected works. All the best for you, your Axel.